So this will be a means for really sharing kind of our point of view of the world and what we're trying to do through our platform and through our product. So this is kind of called orchestrating account-based selling, account-based marketing and sales together, aligning on really driving to revenue impact in an organization. And it really all starts with understanding the account. So we're focused on B2B, where there are multiple people involved in the purchase decision. We have 5 in our little account map up here. I believe the current statistic is 5.4 people in average B2B purchase cycle. But I've heard everything. Actually, in our conversation, this guy's got 70 at some point.
Yes.
All of whom have to buy into it?
Yes.
Before, okay.
Exactly. So these
I'll
are
say no.
Simple.
Well, you have, the junior people are the only ones who understand tech now.
right.
Yeah.
So they're involved.
Yeah. So it starts. it starts with understanding these people. So your buyer personas. What as a marketer, what are those aggregate representations as these key roles, these key people in the buying journey? And together they are on a journey. So I assume most people in this room have heard the term buyer's journey. Yeah. So it's the sequence of stages that they go through, as individuals and as a team. So we usually call it discovering, learning, choosing, purchasing. It actually continues past the sale here into implementing, proving, and owning. Just fits better with the first 4 steps here. And along this journey, each one of these people is participating to some degree in the different stages. So someone might be driving the activities at first. They're the ones who's spearheading gathering requirements and the meetings and the calls and the demos and doing all that coordination and pushing things forward. Someone might be a participant. They might be showing up to the meetings, listening on the demos, influencing what's going on, but not really driving activities. Or they might be like our CFO over here, who's not involved in the early stages of the journey, but then they pop out right at the end before the deal closes with their own their own unique set of needs that need to be filled before this deal is going to move forward and close. So they're on this journey together, and they're interacting with vendors. They're interacting with the different providers of the solutions that they can use to solve their business challenge. And some of these in today's world will be marketing content and campaigns. So orange leads for the marketing side. Some of them will be sales activities. So the phone calls, the meetings, the online demos, the test drives, whatever it is applicable for what you're selling. Those are in blue. And if we were living in the traditional marketing world, the traditional mindset around marketing, we'd love to think there's a nice band of orange across the top here where marketing generates leads. Then they get handed off to the sales, and then a nice band of blue with sales guys and sales women close the deals. Right? Like we'd love to think it was that simple, but that's just not the way the world works. So these activities are truly intermingled across the journey, through the marketing funnel, through the sales pipeline. It's across these different people. And this is what's going on in the buyer's world as they are trying to make a decision about how to solve the business challenge. Right? So if that's what's going on in the buyer's world, you're trying to run a sales cycle. You're trying to execute your sales process as a company. So you have a way by which you're executing your marketing campaigns and your sales forecasting and your territory management and how you negotiate deals and build contracts and prices. So you have a whole methodology built out. You're using some of the common vernacular there that you find in a system like Salesforce. And what's really key to being successful in this world where you have buyers with multiple people, with this journey, with all these co-mingled touch points, is really making that connection between them. Really orchestrating and enabling this buying journey through what you're doing as a sales and marketing organization. So answering those fundamental questions about, as a marketer, what can you do to best enable the buying journey? Which of the touch points are most common? Which are the touch points that really move things forward? Where are you perhaps spending your time and money? Are you doing discovery content for the CFO, where he's not even part of that process? So it really helps provide the guidance, those insights into how you tackle this problem. So that's the challenge. That's what we're looking to achieve. And then, so what does the platform actually do? So our platform, it connects to your data, so it will do some data analysis to help you better understand those buyers and how they buy. It provides a framework and research tools to actually build out these personas and map the buyer's journey so that you truly can get to that point of knowing, what are the needs, what are the activities, what are the preferences of these different personas along their journey. And then that becomes the core construct for crafting messaging, messaging from market positioning all the way down to targeted messages by persona, by stage. Translating that into content that enables the buying journey so that you can inventory your existing content and see where the gaps are as it relates to the buyer needs. And then enabling the sales team, right? So providing the things that sales needs and building that alignment with them, because together you're the ones enabling this buying journey. Makes sense? Any questions? Yeah.
Sure. So how do you customize that for different buyers, different business entities, enterprises?
For different companies?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
so,
it's not a generic, I imagine.
Yeah, so the platform itself, it is the, like the data analysis underpinnings and the frameworks on top of it, which then can be used, for different, different types of companies. Maybe you have 3 personas, maybe you have 5. Maybe you want to call your journey what we have here. Maybe it has more steps because it's a highly regulated industry where there's like a whole kind of compliance analysis part of things. So it's really about having the framework that allow companies to operate in and build out their own market segmentation within it and their own buyers' journeys on top of that existing framework. And we do pre-populate kind of best practices to help get started.
So how much of your solution actually helps the buyer through the process? In other words, when you were designing this, did you look at the chaos that the buyer has to go through with all this noise that they have to sort through, and how much of your design was really focused more on making the buyer's job a lot easier to get through all the headaches that they have to go through?
Yeah, well, I mean, some of this is actually kind of self-serving based on like how much of the clutter of today's marketing world ends up in my inbox. So there's definitely that perspective of like how does this truly end up being a better experience for the buyer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is definitely part of it. We currently don't bridge like all the way into the actual kind of content delivery and campaign management, but we really are about getting there to that end result for the buyer. They're having a more positive experience for our customers, them getting a faster path to revenue and higher win rates and all that kind of stuff that impacts their businesses. Yes.
So this is a cloud offering?
It is a cloud platform. Yes.
So how often do you tweak it? How kind of releases do you have?
Yeah, so we do a release about every 1 or 2 weeks. That will be like little updates and fixes on things. And then like big releases where we recently just launched our content inventory module, which is a module that connects to your website and your Google Drive and your Dropbox and all your content repositories and gives you a single catalog of your marketing and sales content that then gets mapped across the buyer's journey. So that was like a big, meaty addition to the platform. And we were working on that probably for about 2.5 months. So, 2 months between major releases and then a couple weeks between minor ones.
So is this more of a high-level planning tool that would help you know what Bright looks like in terms of the ideal path given all these phases, and that then it's up to, and maybe a diagnostic, like you said, about finding holes in your content or whatever, but I gather it's not actually rules-based content management or getting into use cases, only personas for, and obviously where tech more is involved, but maybe even more packaged, so that there's IT and things involved that might not be as big a factor in a lower cost SaaS, product. How does this fit with sort of, so is that true that you market it more as a planning tool?
It's
And a scorecard, if you will, like here's the checklist you need to, get a good strategy together?
Yeah. So that's exactly right. So I am going to switch to another slide just so it's right there. So really how we position it is as that strategic platform, so
Okay.
get the underpinnings in place that then direct your execution
Okay,
across the funnel pipeline to customers. So, this is, market segmentation through the actual content going to your campaigns. And then we do have hooks in to other systems to help operationalize strategic work.
nice.
Like, I'm sure everyone in this room has seen strategic projects, which are like awesome PDF files. Awesome. And then they gotta get forgotten about, or
Yeah.
neglected, or
Yeah.
gathered dust for a period of time. So it's all about operationalizing this work. So for instance, we plug into your Salesforce and your Marketo or Pardot or wherever you're capturing your leads
Yeah.
and managing your contacts. And we have algorithms that will automatically tag the records to the best fit persona, right? So you can now operationalize around nurture streams based on your persona. You can auto segment like your results, so you can start to look at, how is our content actually performing against different personas and so on. So having this sort of data hooks, getting into the
Yeah.
operational flow, to us is like the real value of the platform once you get the strategic underpinnings crafted. Yeah,
The way that you actually link in things like Salesforce and other tools is almost as important as what you do,
That's right.
isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is what ultimately delivers the end value, right? Because, people could look at the platform and be like, oh, I've got that stuff in Google Docs.
Right.
And that's all. It's like, okay, well, that may be true, but let's talk about the value that you're creating with that. Every one of your content authors have a persona that they can reference and a journey map to help guide their content creation. Are you incorporating this into how you are nurturing and running campaigns? Do you even know the content that you have out there?
Yeah.
Which is usually a kind of like, ooh, I don't know about that. Kind of so it is all about building, crafting, and then operationalizing, maintaining, and one of the key tipping points that brings someone to us is companies who have started to embrace the idea of being more buyer-centric and realizing that starts with understanding the buyer and then translating their go-to-market strategies around satisfying those buyers and their journeys.
Do you plan to also integrate with data management platforms to, like, for prospect customers, automatically assigning that to personas and so on?
So for actually identifying target accounts and target people?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, that sort of thing is in kind of our future, our vision. So complementing the strategic marketing function, okay, that's great, so you can operate in aggregate more effectively and more efficiently. How do we now actually translate that into kind of the direct interactions with specific accounts and specific people? So that's coming soon. Okay, Kevin?
So on a major account, how many personas would you actually be dealing with on a single account? And then do you also tie in some of the psychographics into it? In other words, using like, DISC isn't the right tool, but people consume information differently. So does your tool help the marketer figure that out to who they're speaking to in terms of how they want to see and consume the information?
It does. So to answer those two questions. So the first around, like, how many personas might a company have?
Mm-hmm.
I love this one customer story of ours. So this was a $4 billion life sciences company with 6 lines of business. And when, this is Kathleen from the team. So when Kathleen and I first went out to start working with them about a year ago, and they all got together, and the marketing teams from all 6 business units came together, and everyone put down their personas, they had 52 personas. Then we looked at the list, and they had 17 lab manager personas, right? And this was like the aha moment for them, where they're like, oh my gosh, we're all operating as independent business units, all developing our own stuff. We're all actually talking to the same people, but completely disconnected from each other. So all they were doing was confusing these 4 lab managers and other personas. So when everything was distilled down, when they did the data analysis and the research to really understand the buying audience, they would end up with 15, 16, Kathleen, 17.
Oh, total?
Yeah.
16.
16.
Instead of 52.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then the process and what you articulated is exactly the depth of understanding that you're seeking here, which is not just their demographics and firmographics and yes, goals, initiatives, all those things are good, but also what are the preferences that are, you know, most common in this particular role? Is it long form content? Is it short form content? Is it visual? Is it prose? You know, do they follow social media? Do they not follow social media? And this is best uncovered, at least in our experience to date, best uncovered through actually interviews and surveys. So the process that one would go through in developing a persona would be to start with the framework, gather their internal insights, and then start to talk to customers. And literally within 5 to 7 interviews of 30 to 40 minutes in length, you got the answer. You know what the commonalities are. And you discover things like one of our customers discovered, which is they had been highly invested in their blog. Their buyers didn't like blogs. Whoa. They liked content, but they wanted very informative, more like how-to kind of content. So they took some of the blog content, created some new content, created a new knowledge portal that was like wildly successful. Like, that's a great insight. Like, our buyers don't like blogs. Like, awesome. I'm saying you had a question back there. You've been waiting patiently.
Yeah, I was starting to think you didn't like me. You mentioned that you're just getting to a point where you're starting to measure ROI. Can you talk about that a little bit? I know
Sure.
it's not probably a complete answer yet, but I'm just really curious how you're justifying this to your customers at this stage.
Yeah, it's hard. And, you know, in the kind of learning, so we've been at this for a year and a half. We've had our first product in the market for about a year, and that started incrementally. So there's just the time aspect of this
It's
too.
a long sales cycle.
But one of the things that we've experienced in the marketplace in selling into marketers is that the world has changed over the last few years. We originally went out targeting kind of director level people at mid and larger size companies. You know, our price tags are modest in my opinion. We would call it $1,000, $2,000 a month. Like money, but not huge money. Something that we felt was going to be completely in the realm of the purchasing power of the director of marketing for a larger company. It used to be. I mean, it was 5 years ago. But that's not the case anymore. There is so much marketing technology out there. Companies have bought so many different tools that every purchase is bounced up to the VP or the CMO at a smaller company. And to win there, you need to have like the discrete ROI money. Like, this is the dollars saved or this is the dollars created. And as a startup company with our first few customers, like, we weren't equipped with those questions. So that's been one of our challenges. Now that we have had some customers for 6 months, 9 months, or closer to a year, this work has started to percolate. So one of our customers is it might sound B2C, so they're a private school, private education company that has a K through 12 private schools. Right? But if you think about the decision to send someone to a private school like that, it is a joint purchase decision. It is a buyer's tree. There are decision makers, there are influencers. So their measure of success was a single metric, which was the number of applicants for a year. And they knew what it was in the 2015 cycle when they started working with us. They did the personas, they did the journey mapping, they uncovered that they were completely messaging wrong, or it misaligned with the audience. They were messaging around accolades and achievement and prestige. Their audience that they learned is all about mission, values, culture, community. So they recrafted their messaging, redid all their content, and in the 2016 cycle, they had 3 times as many applicants the next year, right? So that's an awesome direct, ROI result that took a year to matriculate to get to the cycle. So those are the kind of things I'm working at. So campaign conversions, cost of creating content, seeing that really drop once you have the blueprints in place and so on.
How many of you guys work in the B2B arena? Right? And how many in B2C? Okay, cool. Jeff, thank you.
You bet.
Cool stuff.